Ghost Rider. They added Ghost Rider.
Is it
Ghost
the
Rider.
Is it the Frank Castle Ghost Rider?
No, I wish.
Okay.
God,
Right.
damn, that'd be awesome. No, it's the fucking car Ghost Rider.
Right.
What? That's lame.
Hate that dude.
Blockhead Printing. For all your custom nerdy shirt printing. Cons, parties, or gaming clubs, this is a full-service, badass screen printing company. Check out blockheadprinting.com.
Welcome to Comically Gaming episode 103, the weekly talk show where we discuss our obsessions and the week's news around them. A games, comics, and culture production. Catch new episodes every Tuesday, and please consider supporting us at patreon.com/GCandC. You can help us improve all our content for as little as $1 per month. Don't say it. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Make sure you donate $1, make Dirk Holland.
Welcome to Comically Gaming 103.
Without fail.
The best
What's
was
up?
when Corey did it last week. That was even better.
Yeah.
That was good. That was good. Crazy weeks? Anybody had good weeks?
Crazy.
It's all right.
It's alright.
It was all right.
Busy.
Yep.
I don't know. There was a small independent film that came out and
Yeah.
blew up the box office.
The Free Comic Book Day. That was pretty cool.
Free comic book day.
Free
that
Comic
was
Book
crazy.
Day. I'll start off with that. I don't want to shock anybody, and I don't want you to think less of me, but I don't really do Free Comic Book Day.
Really?
And it's because we have one shop here, and it gets swarmed with people.
Oh yeah.
So-
I wouldn't do that either. Yeah.
Looking for
Yeah.
handouts. Yeah.
No, there's.
Well, yeah.
I'm shocked you only have one. When you put in my zip code here in Colorado Springs, like 7 pop up, and so you can make a loop, and everybody's kind of making the loop, right? So it's not a single one gets too crowded.
I wonder if Leo's employing mob tactics and keeping everybody out of the neighborhood. But
Oh, it's probably because all the other ones got eaten by termites.
yeah, right. That's why I'm in the dark. People that aren't aware of that, there are termites swarming in New Orleans season right now. So I didn't. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't collect a whole lot of single issues outside of digital downloads.
Right, I'm the same way.
I use
that's 2 years.
Comixology for everything. So I get graphic novels. That's the only thing I buy a lot of. But I get like #1 issues where I can, or like important ones to hold on to. But I don't collect singles. I'm sort of a completionist in that respect. But
Yeah, I gotta say, like, before we go away from Free Comic Book Day, that I just like to make a little event of it. Like, it gets me into shops that I don't normally go into. You know what I
do
mean?
you kids go with you?
This year they didn't, but usually yes. Usually we make a whole afternoon of it.
That would make a difference for me.
Yeah.
If
Well,
had
that's why I took my son because he's was almost 6, so I wanted him to. He's still scared of cosplay though, because they had Adam West Batman, and then they had Michael Keaton's Batman. And he was scared of him. He was scared of him. I'm like, don't be scared of Batman. He's not going to hurt you. I said, no, Victor Doom, be scared of. And Wonder Woman walked by, and every dude's like, yeah. And it was Wonder Woman and a Green Lantern. I'm like, that's an interesting combination.
Yeah, not bad. So,
Yeah, I had to work 10 a.m. to midnight, so
that sucks.
what
sorry.
can we do?
Open a comic book shop next door to your
Yeah.
So back, just real quick, my comic books of the week. I read Saga 51.
So did I.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I know.
Right.
It is crazy. Exiles #2. It's pretty good. I got Scalped Volume 1, which is from 2007. It's Jason Aaron, It's a sort of a Quentin Tarantino on a Indian reservation style of story. Really, really good. Got Action Comics 1000. We're gonna hit that up. Infinity Countdown #3, and then I'm caught up on Batman. I read Corey. You're totally right. The Boost of Gold episode issues were terrible.
The latest ones.
Yes.
Yeah, I read the first one. I haven't read the latest one, but
second one's not good.
Yeah, it sucks. It was on such a roll before that, and then I think it's
I think it's some crossover related stuff. That's what I got the impression, because it just came out of nowhere.
I know.
Yeah.
Totally put a halt to like everything that was going on. But the wedding dress one was good, right?
Yes, that's actually my comic book of the week, was that Batman one. I guess it's not a new one, but that's the one that I read. Her dress is phenomenal.
Yeah.
No, it was really good, though. It was a really good issue.
Yeah.
In D&D news, I got this. I don't know if you can see it, the Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
I want it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got it because, and it's actually, I haven't started it yet, but I can tell it's going to be one of my favorites as compared to like Volo's Guide, because it's all about Faerun. It's like learning about the entire culture and the area and everything in it. So that's totally awesome. It's good. It's just great as a source book and reference for if you're playing in that campaign setting.
And we are.
Yeah, that's what I want to get, like place names. I want to learn the Pantheon, that kind of stuff. It's perfect for that. So,
right, yeah, like for my characters from the area, I should know about it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I was saying, in Ravenloft, we were sucked in, and none of us have been there before. It's not like we live there, but in the Sword Coast, we do. So,
and this is really the only one like this in 5th edition. In 2nd edition, every campaign setting had multiple guides to the areas that you were playing in. Yeah. This is the only one for a campaign setting in 5th edition. I mean,
well, I think they simplified it down to give you that campaign setting, and then you can open up to homebrew.
Yeah, right.
I assumed that, 5th edition being relatively new, that they wanted to get out adventures right off the bat. Like, people are going to play through the few adventures that they had at launch and want more, right? So I just always assumed that there would be more books like Sword Coast Adventures forthcoming, right? But that
I think so. I think they have a monster in their hands, and that they are going to, do the most that they can with it before they have to give it up or change it. And the Unearthed Arcana is working well. I mean, they're able to like add new content and test it out before they actually make it official. So that's awesome. And then in terms of games, I haven't really been playing God of War because I'm working through Celeste to try to close it out.
Right.
And that game, oh my God. It's both a beautiful thing because when you get past a certain section, you're like, you want to award yourself a medal. You're like, yeah, I did it. But then, like, you start another one, and you're like, oh, you just want to throw your console out of the freaking window every time. I'm like, oh, I fucking hate this game. And then you're like, oh, I love this game.
See? I'm like that with Shovel Knight. For some reason, I didn't get that with Celeste. I could die like 100 times, and I wouldn't get the rage that I can get with some games, like
Actually,
Tiger.
I did not get it until the end. Where I'm at right now, because it's so freaking hard. I'm like, oh, so mad.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is.
There's one spot. Wait till you get. I don't know. There's one spot, and that took me a long time, and you haven't talked about it yet. So I don't know if you're there.
Oh God, I can't wait. Anyway, and then just watching Legion, trying to catch up on that. I think I'm 2 episodes behind. So
you're about to get to the stinker.
The stinker, Corey says it's not as much of a stinker as
it's not a stinker.
Total stinker.
But then there's a great episode after that, right?
You're back to normal. I feel like.
Okay.
Yep.
You know, it has higher ratings than the last season of Americans did, so I have hope.
I think it'll make it.
Maybe for one more season. I'm worried about the extra episode that they wrote, though.
Yeah, it's nervous. Makes me nervous.
Yeah. That's my week.
Well, hold on. Well, you talk about the extra episode. We might as well just chat that up for a second, because Corey made the good point when me and him were talking about it, is that if they were going to... Usually if a show gets canceled, it's just canceled, right? Like, they don't give shows extra episodes, you know what I mean? Like, that's... That would be odd of them to do that.
You know what the third theory is on that? That they're bringing Patrick Stewart in.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. As Professor X. So.
That would be sweet. Yeah. If they do that, that'll blow my mind. Like,
he might.
Will. Yeah.
If anybody can get him, I mean, I think it would be Noah Hawley for sure. But we'll see.
That would be fucking awesome. God, you just put a shit-eating grin on my face with that theory.
We'll see.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
my week.
All right. So
what's up, Jeff? Pass the ball.
I beat God of War the other day.
Oh, you beat it. That's right.
Yeah.
2 down.
Super awesome game. I did get distracted for a while doing side quests. I just go around on a boat, checking it out around the lake, finding shit, and I was doing it on purpose to level up all my armor and gear as much as I could.
Yeah.
Before I went to it, and then I finally was like, fine. I got tired. What really happened was I got tired of the icon on the map telling me where I need to go next, bugging me up in my overview. So I was like, fine, I want to get rid of this thing.
So what did you get today?
Oh, I got it the other day. I started playing Celeste today.
Oh, really?
And I had to go to the D-pad.
Oh, wait, what was your God of War score?
9.5 for God of War.
Unanimous so far.
So far. And so I started playing Celeste. I played hour and a half. I've died probably 200 times.
Right?
I'm not getting all the strawberries. I saw some of those, and I'm like,
no,
man, I am not trying to get those.
Dude, it gets a lot worse, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like I haven't played a game where it makes my hand hurt.
Yeah. It's old school Nintendo game.
It is, and that's why I went to the D-pad, because I was like, this is a lot easier than the thumbstick.
Yeah.
But I always get caught up when I'm trying to do a chain jump through there.
Yes.
That you have to do, and I'll forget that I'm holding like L2, and then it'll screw me up because I'm just button mashing at that point.
My hands get sweaty.
Real intricate hand usage.
Yeah. I gotta work on that. Strengthen my hand, get used to old Nintendo hands.
Yeah.
I tried Fortnite out, and I don't see why it's such a big hype on that game.
God, it is though. Ugh.
I don't get it. It's I don't know.
Is it just the number of people that can play at once? Is that
why? Yeah, I think that it is. There's 100 people.
People just love that battle royale shit.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I don't see. I mean, it's different. It's a variation on deathmatch and stuff.
I think that if other people that I knew were playing, it'd be different.
Yeah.
And I read that Action Comic 1000, and we'll get to that later in the show. But I read Gideon Falls #2, dude. I'm in awesome. Now. I'm in on this. Again, the artwork just blows you away. But
I'm telling you, Nate, I know you were like, you said the first issue didn't have you. The second issue will have you.
Yeah.
It will grab you.
For sure. And then I picked up a stack of comic books, Free Comic Book Day. One of them is from the CW, and I really don't care about Riverdale, so if there's like any teenage girls that want to read with some like non-sparkly vampire on the cover.
I do have to say, my friends have a daughter that's 12 that we hang out together with their family and whatnot, and she's into comics because of those books and a few other ones that I would never be into. But it's like she goes to a comic book shop, she's got her pulls there. And
that's
stuff.
awesome.
So yeah, I'm for it because of that, right? Like,
yeah.
Get teenage girls into the mix.
Yep.
And what else? Did I watch any movies? I don't remember. Oh, I started listening to Scary Thoughts.
Nice.
I don't think it's awesome.
Where are you listening to it?
I just get them on iTunes, download it to my iPhone, and just play it. It probably takes 3 days to listen to it because they're like hour and a half, 2 hours long. But I think, Dirk, they'd be right up your alley just for the depth of how deep they go into movies and what they talk about during all.
Yeah, I was interested when I just I forgot that I worked with Chad, although I didn't work with him as often as Nate did. But no, I definitely want to listen to it for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. I listened to their Get Out section, and it was interesting to listen to because I was like, yes, I said the same thing. So, that's pretty much it. It was I focused a lot on God of War. That was my main thing to do this week, and
right.
Yeah,
I haven't played a game that fast in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
you ain't gonna get it with Celeste, so enjoy it while you had it.
Funny.
I can't believe I thought the
Celeste
number
only
was
took
weird.
me like 3 days.
That's you though, Corey. That's like we old in here. We ain't got that.
Well, I was telling Dirk, I said, I haven't played a platformer like that for probably 20 years.
Yeah.
And trying to get that, I know I'll get like Nintendo Thumb, as I used to call it, where just all the pressure all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Sweaty palms, dude. Like
Sweaty
crazy.
palms, yeah.
Yeah, my control's slipping all over the fucking place.
Yeah, and it's humid out there.
All right.
Now you got a death grip on the damn thing. You're like,
All right, I've got 2 weeks since I wasn't here. First of all, you guys had a great show without me. I gotta say, I really enjoyed it.
Say it again.
It was great. That being said, I also haven't had a chance to talk about Infinity War. It's funny. I gave it 7.3 good, and I liked. We had a great conversation on Facebook about how we think about ratings and stuff. Like, it's funny.
yeah, we did.
I just thought that everybody thought about it like me, and they don't. Like, so I'll throw out there 7.3 means it's a good movie. Like, I liked the movie. It was good.
That sounds like someone's burying their head in the sand and teaching up.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's just weird how you reviewed it, because I judge movies by their genre. I don't compare. I'm not going to compare this to like a Francis Ford Coppola or Scorsese. Each has their own.
I'm rating movies.
As long as you are okay with everybody having their own, like everybody should be okay with how they review their own movies.
I'm totally. I thought it was great to whatever, just talk it through. But yeah, so I don't know, like, it was good, not great. Like, I think that I just like the single stories better at this point. Like, we have so many comic book movies that it's cool that there's both, and I do like the extravaganza of the Avengers movies, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like the stories are deeper with the single movies, and like, I think the story of Legion is better than Infinity War, hands down, right now. Like, if we're talking about comic book stories, and it shouldn't be that way. Like, I feel like if these movies cost $300-400 million to make, they can be better. Like, and I feel like everybody's too positive on them.
But with as many characters as you had to talk about, you couldn't get a real in-depth feel per character. I mean, they did a great job, just the way they cut the scenes to give you the feeling that these were happening at the same time in different places. You had Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Star-Lord.
The other thing I was going to say is, like, if you, I would say Legion is obviously way better, but if you put Legion on a feature film, and you ain't going to get those crowds. I mean, and they're not going to enjoy it on a mass scale like you had. The Avengers is made for the masses.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Totally.
That's the compromise. It's like Ready Player One.
You have to compromise.
Ready Player One, they changed it from the book because they needed to attract the bigger crowd than just a certain sect.
I'm just saying that compromise is a problem for me. And for you guys all giving it 9.5s, 9.8s and stuff, like, I think it could be way better than it is. The compromise is a problem. There should, to be honest, like...
I would say I gave it that rating because the compromise to me is understood in the premise of the actual film itself, you know? Like, I'm not expecting... I still had emotions. I mean, without going into spoilers, I had some emotions. So that's what forced me to give it that score. Anyway.
Sure.
Laughter, shock, and anger.
Yep. I just had to get into it because Infinity War is such a big deal this year. I just had to.
And the Battle of Naboo with Roman soldiers.
What's that?
The Battle of Naboo with Roman soldiers.
Naboo comparison. Also, it would be different though, Nate, if you had, I guess, grown up on Thanos. Like if you had been really familiar with him.
Yeah.
Like, sounds like a sitcom. Growing up on Thanos.
Yeah, I agree. I do say that, I think, but I didn't this episode yet, is that I had no history with Thanos before I went to you, right? And yeah, I know you, not only you, but there's a few different people that I've talked to that are super passionate about his character, and so to get to see it, I get it. Yeah. I just think... never mind. We said enough. So the other thing that I did is last week saw A Quiet Place. Any of you guys see that?
No,
I heard it was great though.
I did not think it was great. That's for sure.
Wow.
I mean, it was all right. It wasn't
quiet.
I wouldn't even say good for A Quiet Place, but
Corey, it's a horror movie.
With Jim?
With Jim, yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I heard it was all right.
It was all right. So, like, I like to watch all right horror movies. I do. You know what I mean? To go into a theater and do that for 2 hours is fun. And for the first time, I went to one of those places where you eat dinner.
Oh yeah.
And
bistro. Yep.
Yeah. So didn't realize that A Quiet Place is fucking quiet. Like in it, like nobody even talks. It's all sign language in the movie, and it's totally silent. And we went to like a 10 o'clock show, ordered dinner, and like I got fish and chips, and I was like holding my fork and knife and like waiting for like a noise so I could cut into it. It was funny.
That sounds like my kind of movie.
What's that?
Yeah.
That sounds like my kind of movie. If you have to pay attention.
Yeah, but it was just the worst for one of those type of places. It was the worst movie you could ever see. Like it was funny.
For dinner.
So
surprised you went to see that.
What's that?
Were you like looking forward to that or something? You don't see a ton of movies. Why'd you go see that?
No, we were just. I was out on the town with my wife, and we had a couple hours to kill. And said, "Let's go see a movie."
Amy,
you know what I mean? And that was the thing.
I know she doesn't watch the show, so I can say it. Amy wanted to see it.
Actually, I was the one that brought it up.
The truth comes out.
So last week when I wasn't on the show, we had Grandma in town watch the kids, and we had a free place to stay in Denver, so we spent the weekend just doing grown-up stuff, which we never get to do ever. Whenever we have somebody who babysits, it's like so that we can go to the scooter rally or whatever, so it's like weekend with the wife, right? And had 2 hours to kill. Went and saw a movie.
Romance.
Right? She didn't want to see Infinity War. Shocking.
That's not a shocker whatsoever.
But actually,
next you got to watch Forever My Girl.
What's that?
Next you got to watch Forever My Girl.
No, I will never watch that. My wife would never watch a movie like that. That's for sure. And like I say, we were talking over top of each other. She did go see Infinity War with us when we went, but we went with the whole family. We wanted to go with the kids too. Didn't want to see it twice, right? So, Legion. It's great. Again, Corey was right. We joked last episode. The last one was a stinker. It was the most boring thing ever. I couldn't believe that they changed it. It was like the bad Stranger Things episode, and it was like the Morgan Walking Dead episode. Stinker, total stinker. But we're back. This next one is was right back to where the quality of everything else. So happy to see that. Not caught up, but I'm through the first episode of the current season of Fear the Walking Dead.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, you've been talking about that for a while. And what a great crossover episode. That's like...
Right?
Yeah, that was one of the greatest crossover episodes of any franchise ever for television. Like, I was shocked how good it was. It
was awesome, wasn't it? It was, I mean, way better than a lot of The Walking Dead. And the new characters in it are pretty sweet, too, huh?
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely agreed.
For sure.
So, yeah, I'll be watching more of that. And then watch another episode of One Punch Man. I love One Punch Man. It's really great. I'll leave it at that. I'm not gonna spoil it. What do you got?
Sweet. There? Well, I was gonna ask you. Did you get anything else in the mail or?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was 2 weeks ago too. I don't know if you can see in the
yeah.
here, so.
See that spiky hair?
Apparently, friends don't let friends start Dragon Ball Z in the wrong spot, or Dragon Ball period, right? So yeah, Dirk shot me and the Moldy Potato the DVD set of Dragon Ball Z.
Got you.
Yep. So
you got you.
Yep.
And actually, Zach.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Zach's son just started from Dragon Ball. The first. He's starting at the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. And then, okay, so Saga. So for my birthday, I got the subscription, a print subscription in the mail, and the first one showed up as number 51. I was on like 40 digital, and I have through 48 digital, and then on Free Comic Book Day, I bought the ones 49 and 50 to catch me up. So I've just read episode 42, and I have everything through current, and I'm just blazing through them, and they're so great. I feel like it's so many steps better than every other comic that I've ever read. To be honest, like, you know what I mean? It's crazy to me how good it is.
It's like incredible. the new member of their crew. With the. Yeah, it's hard to talk about.
Yeah, I can't talk about it. Just other than to say it's great, right? Really great.
It is.
And then right along those lines, like, gotta fucking more, man. I have had a chance to put like an hour a night in, like 3 nights out of this week. And that's like the greatest 3 hours of the week, right? Like it's so good. And I know, like, Corey, when you kind of gave your review for it, you almost sounded like apologetic, like you were giving it a bad score, but you're just comparing it to, is this my favorite game of all time? Like, I even think like it still might be, probably not, but it is so special. I feel like for that type of game is my favorite type of video game.
I gave it a 9.5. I wasn't being negative on it.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying you're being negative, but just your conversation about it was, you know, it's not as good. Like it almost seemed like at the beginning it was hyped up to possibly be your favorite game ever. Yeah. And then it was somewhat of a disappointment that it wasn't quite as good as the favorite ones ever. I just wanted to point and I emphasize that and just say that it's special, right? Super special experience. So much, you know, compared to what else there is in the world. And just, I just wanted to shout out the last couple of years with Zelda, with you know, what was Monster Hunter out of nowhere. I thought was really special. Like it's
Zelda wasn't that special.
What's that?
Shut up.
Shut up. And Persona also, I feel like was super special too. Like, and I just throw God of War in there with one of those. Like, this is one of my favorite games ever, regardless of what happens in the end of it. All right.
Well, yeah, because it had such great character development. When you complete the game, it's just amazing. You're like, wow.
I gotta say also, the visuals are incredible. I mean, just stunning. I sit there and just look at it. I wish I could take photos in this game.
That's common.
I mean,
photo mode. Yeah.
All right.
Photo mode's coming.
All right, Corey.
What's your shirt, Corey?
That's Ray.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Johnny Cash for a second.
No. My week, what did I do?
We don't know.
I worked, played some video games, played a little disc golf. Well, I'll start with games. I was playing Prey last week. I stopped playing Prey. I'm done with Prey. Too fucking hard. I don't know if it's like, it's just not my type of game, I guess. Like, apparently I just don't like the survival horror type games. Like, I gave up on the last Resident Evil 2. I don't like games where you struggle to survive the whole time, and that's what you're doing in it. Like, I got like 6 hours in, and it's just like, you have like 10 bullets and like one med kit and you just barely clear out this room and feel like you accomplished like the hardest thing in the world, and you go into the next room and there's fucking 7 more monsters, and you're like, God fucking damn it. So it's just like,
I kind of heard a lot of people, I never heard anybody talk about that, but I heard a lot of people like that game had real positive buzz on day 1, and then as everybody played it, they kind of lost interest throughout.
Yeah, and the story wasn't pulling me in really at all. Like, it was decent, but I don't know. I try not to give up on games, especially after playing like 6 hours on them, because I'm trying to beat a bunch of games this year, and it's I had to give up on it. And I might go back to it at some point, but I just wasn't digging it. And then I played like an hour of Mad Max, maybe half hour, basically the intro, which it seems all right. I'll probably come back to it at some point. It's just not. It doesn't feel great.
Kiss of death.
It's the graphics aren't that great.
I think the car combat's great.
Like, is it?
Yeah.
I really haven't gotten to I drove a car, but I didn't get in any combat with it.
Yeah,
so.
When you're having some of the epic battles with cars, the way you can target like specific pieces of the other cars, and the way everybody's jumping back and forth between them, and they got to pull people from the movies and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it gets great.
All right, I'll play a little bit more. But so then I started playing. I still don't even know how to say the name. Atelier Sophia.
It's Atelier.
Atelier Sophia. The Alchemist Mystery of the Book or something. But put a shitload of hours into that. I'm gonna beat that, but I gotta stop playing Japanese RPGs if I want to beat a bunch
I was about
of games
to say.
Because they're too long.
No way you can beat JRPGs.
Soma.
Yeah.
Like 6 hours, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played quite a bit of Soma, but
You gonna get Attack on Titan?
no, I haven't watched that.
I see people playing the game. I don't know if it's any good.
But the Sophia game's it's good, not great. It's real basic RPG. But I like it.
Love them. You love them.
I do. I like them. And then I watched all of the Fear the Walking Dead, Legion. All my usual anime. Darling in the Franxx is back this week.
You didn't like that dub remix, huh?
I didn't watch that. It's not.
Oh, you should watch it. It's cool. It is cool.
I saw.
You'll like it.
He refused to watch it on principle.
Yeah, it's like it's too serious.
I mean, that shows that and Legion are gonna be at competition for #1 this year for sure.
How many episodes in Darling in the Franxx?
24.
But 20 minutes apiece, right?
Yeah, it's one of the anime. There's 4 seasons of anime a year. It's one that goes through 2 seasons. So, but it's awesome. Sword Art's still great. Everything else are still good. And then Rad Action Comics, and that's it.
And that's it.
All right.
News of the week. Number 5. Avengers #1. The comic is reuniting the big 3. Cap, Iron Man, and Thor.
Has anybody read that?
No, I need to. I
started reading it.
It's too good so far.
It's not in my list because I didn't finish it, but it's okay. It's Jason Aaron, which is awesome, but
this one?
It's okay. No, that one's different, Jeff. But it's the same team that's working on it.
Ah, yes.
But it's okay. You know what I'm finding is that as I get older, I don't like team books as much.
That's what I was saying about the movies.
Well, I mean, in a way, I know what you mean in regards to the comics for sure. They can't focus in on one character. It's got to be like a storyline that affects a whole bunch of people. Maybe, maybe it'll be great because Jason Aaron can be great. He's not always great, but I'm hoping. I got my fingers crossed. I mean, you saw who the team is?
I saw Jason Aaron. Who?
No, the members of the Avengers team. You saw who's in it?
It was She-Hulk. I saw.
Yeah. Ghost Rider. They added Ghost Rider.
Is it the Frank Castle Ghost Rider?
No, I wish.
Okay.
God, damn, that'd be awesome. No, it's the fucking car Ghost Rider.
Right.
Hate that dude.
Ghost
Rider.
Yeah, it's like what? Yeah, and then I think everybody, Doctor Strange, and then the core 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks sweet though. Glad to have the big 3 back together. So
yeah.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah.
Number 4. Ant-Man and Wasp new trailer. So,
That looks dope.
Dude, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I'm glad they're doing Ghost.
Seems not does it take place side by side with Infinity War? Like
I read it so that it's going to be before.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason. Never mind.
I wish it wasn't. I wish that it was in the post Infinity War world.
Right.
But are they gonna say which ones are and which ones aren't? I mean,
that's what I feel like. That's a problem.
Trying to dance around this issue here.
Okay.
That's a dance around a huge issue.
Let's talk about it later.
Continuum is really hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3.
Number 3.
Speaking of
Infinity War, doing amazing. So cost $1 billion sooner than The Force Awakens. Star Wars, Karen Gillian wrote a thank you note with the lightsaber handing to Iron Man, and it broke the record for biggest opening weekend of all time. So killing it.
But now, did they calculate that with inflation of other movies, or?
I believe so.
I mean, I stand by my statement that the MCU is this century's Star Wars, really.
I
think in a way you're right. In a way.
I won't.
I'm not going to spoil it.
I know that. Yeah, I know why Nate why it makes his head explode, but I also see what your point is at the same time. So
I still think it's as good as Star Wars was.
I'm not saying it's not as good, but for this century and the generations growing up watching these movies.
For the kids, absolutely.
For the kids, that is how they look at those movies the same way I looked at Star Wars in 1977 in the theater.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking about when you said that.
Right.
Different perspective. The kids are seeing some wild shit in these movies that we never got to see on that level. I mean, so I'm a little jealous that I'm not 12, to be honest.
I'm not.
I know. I
don't want to be 12.
The stories aren't as good. We have better stories, and that's the important part.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Glad the superhero movies are still doing well. So
Me too.
They keep
That's
pumping them out.
Everybody keeps on talking about how there is going to be like fatigue for this.
Yeah.
There's no fatigue because they're good.
No, not if Marvel's doing this. Yeah,
right.
I don't think I think we're going to start getting into some really awesome areas. I know Zach and I debate this all the time. He just doesn't. He gets a film over his eyes when you talk about superhero movies now. But I think we're going to start getting into some awesome territory with it.
Yeah.
I think we already are.
Yeah, we are.
Open world Superman game.
It's a rumor. It's a rumor that
Rocksteady's developing a Superman game.
But you can't play as Clark Kent, which makes sense. So it sounds like I almost get the idea that it's going to be set in Metropolis, and
that's what they said. Yeah,
it said the Arkhamverse.
Sounds just like Arkham, like the Batman games. You never play as Bruce Wayne,
right?
You're always Batman. And so I would be down with the Superman game. That's just like the Batman games because those games are great.
They were rumored to be doing Justice League before this came out. As of yet, they haven't officially announced what they're working on after the recent Batman game. What was that? Arkham
Night?
Arkham Knight?
Yeah. Right. So they haven't announced what they're doing yet, but this
Arkham Knight was a great game.
It's awesome.
I have it on my. I have it to download. They mentioned in that article also that they could be adopting some of the Dragon Ball flying fighting techniques, if you play those DBZ games, the fighting is awesome in the air. Like if you're flying, I can totally see that being really, really done well in a Superman game if they do it in that style. But all hearsay and leaks.
Yeah.
Rumors. So.
Rumors. Number 1.
Chatter.
Red Dead Redemption. New trailer dropped. Bunch of shit dropped. Can't wait.
It looks good. It really looks good. I want a game that's immersive in the Old West.
Oh, well, yes. Yeah. It's hard for me to get totally excited about the trailer. I'm just ready to play it.
Yeah, I'll be Mr. Old Negative guy again. This trailer did nothing for me. I thought it looked totally boring. Nothing that happened in that trailer seemed exciting or cool. It looks good,
I will say I semi-agree with you, Nate, just in the fact that I don't even remember what happened in the trailer, to be honest.
Right.
The trailer
didn't Cowboys.
It didn't get me hyped. It got me hyped for Red Dead Redemption to come out because I loved the first one so much, but the trailer itself didn't blow me away or anything.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just ready to play. It just got me ready to play.
It's exciting because no other real game developer out there is doing Wild West. It's all
which is weird, huh?
Yeah, they're all capitalizing on World War II or cartoony people with pickaxes running around building walls and shit.
Well, it brings up another good point too. Like, there's a lot of different time periods you can cherry pick from, and people just aren't using them.
Yeah,
Well,
that's why I like Assassin's Creed does that with their niche, where they go back in time and they recreate those cities.
They need a Western.
Yeah.
They need a Western. They need a more, maybe go for more of a Wyatt Earp Tombstone kind of thing.
All right, Deadwood. Deadwood was incredible.
Deadwood would be awesome.
I still am sticking back to Red Dead Redemption. I'm still sticking to my problem with the first game is the shooting controls. The same problem that I have with GTA. The shooting controls are not good, they haven't really showed gameplay really yet. There wasn't any in that trailer, but if it's still got the Grand Theft Auto 5 shooting controls, I'm gonna be mad about it.
They probably will.
I know they probably will.
It's Rockstar.
It's that definitely brings it down in my mind.
I don't have as much of a problem with it. I think it could be improved upon for sure. But I'm still gonna beat it. I mean, I'm still gonna play through it and love it, and it's not as much. It's not a complete deterrent. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, sure. I don't think it is for me either.
But it could improve absolutely the game quality if it was something like Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are doing the Scrooge McDuck, like just swimming around in money. You know what I mean? Like that's what they're doing, and it should be better. You know what I mean? The shooting controls should be up to current shooting controls.
Yeah, like Uncharted or Tomb Raider at least.
Correct. Correct.
No.
But still can't wait for it.
Yeah. I'll duel your ass.
And it's our pleasure this week to be joined by Megacy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Yeah, is anybody that watches a lot of Comically Gaming has heard a lot about Mutiny, and so and another thing, like we kind of have guests on that we try to have a wide variety of, like, this person likes pinball, and this person's into Pokemon Go, and this person does YouTube, and this person just does a podcast, and like I've never had anybody who actually runs a shop that's selling comics out there. So wanted to throw that in. I know Mutiny's a lot more than that, so I don't know. You can spend a minute and just talk trash about.
We also have pinball there and Pokemon, and we're a gym on Pokemon, I think actually. So
nice.
Oh, nice.
We got all those things going on there. We sell records, we sell books. We have bands and comedy shows. We have a magic open mic where magicians will come in and they'll try their new magic tricks in front of an audience for the first time or whatever.
That's awesome.
Comedy open mics. We do a monthly comedy thing that's called Comedy Save the Video Star, where they have comedians come in, they do a little showcase joke thing, and then they'll play like Pyromania from MTV from back in the day, and they'll riff over the top of that and make fun stuff. So that's pretty fun. There's we've got a lot going on there all the time. We just started opening up earlier at 7 a.m. Shameless plug to do breakfast items and
yeah, plug away. Plug away.
So,
nice.
It's on the corner of Broadway and Ellsworth, just in case I was wondering.
Jeff's never been there, but he said it enough times that he definitely knows. Yeah, it's funny. Whenever we come up to Denver, like my best friend lives like 3 blocks away. So it's funny. I never run into you there. I don't know what hours you work, but I've gotten coffee there like a million times.
I'm like there Monday, Tuesday days, but Friday, Saturday nights. I'm there when all the people are outside at the bars and everything and stumbling in, and so I'm dealing with those people. But we also have the best shows on those nights too, So.
Yeah, totally. How late do you open on Friday and Saturday?
Fridays and Saturdays till 3 a.m.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
The rest of the week till 1. So if you got a hankering for comic books at like midnight,
that is awesome.
Yep, absolutely. Well, cool. Yeah, definitely. I can't say enough good things about Mutiny. You guys, you're fighting the good fight over there for sure. Definitely appreciate having you guys around. So just, I was going to ask, like, so you just laid it out there, how I think there's probably even a couple things that you missed that Mutiny does, right, within your 4 walls. Like, I just wanted to ask, like, what's the craziest might be the wrong word, but what's like the most surprising thing that since you guys, how long have you been around now? Like 2-3 years, 5 years? Am I crazy? Like 5?
Yes.
So like before you started, like, what's the one thing that kind of strikes you now as like, wow, I would have never thought sort of thing?
I don't know. I'm pretty hard to surprise sometimes, but people have asked us to do all sorts of things at the shop. We've had Neurosis does like a little pop-up show. One of the guys from Neurosis did a pop-up show at our place. TJ Miller did a surprise late night show a long time ago.
Nice.
A long time ago. He did a show at 2 a.m. at the shop.
That's awesome.
Just like little things like that where people from out of nowhere are just like, we heard about your store. We'd love to come in and do a little recording. So that's always fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. Definitely.
My question is all the comic book shops up here that I go to seems like they're basically surviving off of magic cards and D&D and shit. And I noticed that I've been to your place when I was visiting Nate. You guys don't do that. Is there a reason why you're not jumping on the magic bandwagon, or?
Well, we lost our longtime comic book manager, Jordan, and he went to go work for Tokyo Joe's or another restaurant place. And so we just hired on this new guy, Jake. But right before Jordan left, he was starting to work on doing magic, getting in cards, and looking at some other card games to bring in. And we have a Diamond account, so we can get Dungeons and Dragons stuff there. But, we do really well with Gundam models and just subscription services. We got a lot of people that do pull lists with us, and we sell a ton of comic books that way. But when you have a coffee bar in there, you have a record store in there, and you have a shop, you don't have to jump onto the magic bandwagon or whatever.
Yeah.
Open mic on the 3rd Monday of the month, where guys come in and do their magic tricks.
Yeah. That's cool because that's like I don't usually I want to go to a comic shop, not a magic shop, and it seems like that's what's dominant. It's cool that you can make it without that. It seems like that's how they're staying in business. So.
Wizard's Chest is right up the street though, and they sell a lot of that stuff up there too. So you can go up there and check things out, and then come down to us for comics. So I mean, it's nice that we have a lot of things going on Broadway, where you don't get bored.
For sure.
Yeah, it sort of blows my mind a little bit that it all exists in one building. I feel like I would spend a lot of time there if I had something like that around me. How hard is it to combine, I guess, all of those types of retail in one space?
So before I did Mutiny, I was doing freelance graphic design and website development. I was dealing with a lot of software stuff and online shopping carts. So I already had some background in like some retail and dealing with software that way. Mm-hmm. But it also opened up I started thinking about point of sale software and what's going to work well with all that, and then dealing with inventory. But before I did that, I worked at a grocery store, worked at a Whole Foods. And so nice. I learned a lot, thinking about the different departments and how you advertise and you separate those different departments, and you can cross merchandise and do those things. So awesome. For that, I worked at a scooter shop, and you had thousands upon thousands of SKUs. You had old scooters and new scooters. Then you had apparel. So, you can break all these things apart. So now what I'm lucky enough to get to do is take all my favorite things, books, records, comics, coffee, and I get to reel things into like a little sim store, if you will, but it's real life.
It's amazing. I'm really jealous. Really jealous.
Yeah, Dirk, if you ever visit, you'll see when you walk in there, like I can see what you're saying with that. It does kind of have a grocery store feel to it almost, with the departments and whatnot. It's funny.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So with your business model, where do you see you going in the future? Are you going to expand, or?
We've already got ideas and plans put together for finding little shops in the suburbs, and that kind of feeds people into our store. So we'll open up, say we find a strip mall, we put a little coffee shop right at the front of it, and then you have a wall just full of comic books, and then you go towards the back and you got a couple of record bins with some records that we know can sell, especially in that neighborhood or that area. So you're a coffee shop and you got a place that people can go. And then maybe once a week you have a comedy open mic in there, and you just get people to come back in. You do subscription pull lists. But, at our store, the coffee is really what drives or sustains the store. I might have a really slow day one day selling books and comics and stuff, but I'll always have the people and the businesses that are around me buying coffee. So I will always have a good day with that. And then I can have a barista there that can run the shop, and if it's not so busy, I don't have to be there, or I can go and do my books, pay the bills, and those kind of things.
Oh, that's amazing.
That is awesome. You should expand in Englewood, so it's
or New Orleans.
New Orleans,
definitely.
New Orleans, especially with all the wizards and warlocks and stuff.
And Dirks.
Lots of Dirks.
Did you guys? Did you do Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah.
How was it?
It went really, really well. I know that a lot of businesses will do where you get 3 free comic books, or you get 5 comic books. And if you spend $10, you get another 2 comic books.
Whoa.
So we just did it where you got 3 free comic books just for showing up. And then you could buy each one of them for 25 cents after that. Mm. And we sold probably 325-cent comics.
Right.
So we didn't get a lot of money off of it, but it was a great way for us to track data. How many comic books did we sell? What moved out of there? Our comic book guy is going to go through and check the piles to the invoice and find out what titles are doing well. And then we can say, hey, those are the comic book.
All this.
There you go.
All this for our Free Comic Book Day.
It was 50 or 60 titles this year. It was crazy when they sent us 4 giant boxes full of free comics. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yep, and you can tell the ones they're really trying to push for whatever reason. I don't know. We got stacks and stacks of James Bond and a couple of titles, and we were like, I don't think people are really going to be into that. And a lot of them didn't move, but Adventure Time and Vader Zim. We get a lot of kids that come into the store with their punk rock parents or whatever, and they were just grabbing up the comic books. It was fun.
Yeah, it seems like there's a Simpsons one every year too.
Yeah. I don't recall there being one this year or Bob's Burgers.
Right.
I got a Bob's Burger.
Did you?
Yeah.
Buddy.
Okay.
Well, thanks for stopping by, Legacy.
Yeah.
Definitely been a
Next
pleasure.
time I'm in Denver, I need to go there.
Where is it, Jeff?
It's I know where it's at. What's that? You cut out.
Let me know. Try and bump into you while I'm there.
Sure. Yeah. I will. I'll wear this shirt. And,
there you go.
Are you coming down for Scooter Olympics?
No.
I don't know.
Oh, you should.
I'm in ACE now, so I think I have some obligations to maintain my membership at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I usually work on weekends, so I may or may not be able to make it.
You should make it happen at least for one night for the synchronized scootering, right?
The last time I went down there for a scooter rally, I got my wife pregnant, so I'm going to try to...
All right. We'll leave it at that. Have a good night, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
See ya.
We really appreciate Matt Legacy coming in and joining
yeah.
us. And it was a great conversation. Really, really interesting to see the marketing world of comic books and combining a coffee shop and pinball machines and everything. So if you're in Denver, I told you, corner of Broadway and Ellsworth, check it out. This week in Community Corner, I thrown up a question asking if you had read the new Bendis take on Superman, and if so, what were your first impressions? And it looks like no one read it. So no one commented except for those two yahoos. And so I changed it up for next week's question. What are you more hyped to see, the new Deadpool movie or Solo?
Yeah, that's a
good one.
That's a hard one.
Yeah,
that is definitely a hard one. But moving in, we gonna give our shout outs to the YouTube community.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Time of the week, people come, they give us subscriptions. They hit the subscribe button on our channel. Guess what we got, fellas? 1,500 subscribers this week.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I love every single one of them too.
It blows my mind. So appreciative. Definitely cannot thank all of you enough. Some of the new people that joined this week also have YouTube channels of their own, so we like to shout those out. This week I got the video game related ones. So WGK Clan, Power Juice Gaming, Dark Wolf Z, who looks like he hangs with the Omni Squad when I started clicking around on his stuff there. Thank you. And then PB Mac 36, all subscribed this week. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Sweet. And then for the Not Nerd content, we have Leonard Shea, Aja and Jazz, and Awesome Alicia. Thank you.
Totally. And then every week, if you guys are watching for the first time, we do a name of the week where we go through all the new subscribers and we just pull out the coolest sounding channel based on nothing other than the name. I think I got to go with the Power Juice.
Power Juice Gaming. Yeah.
Wow, unanimous. Platinum.
Platinum.
Power Juice Gaming Award.
Full Force Platinum.
Yep, you did it. Power Juice. You're the name of the week.
Congrats.
So,
add you to the wall.
We've also been shouting out lately the people that show up on our Sunday night streams because we record this immediately afterwards. Had a really fun night tonight playing Darkest Dungeon or trying to play Darkest Dungeon. And Captain Emo, as always, representing hard on there. The Moldy Potato showed up. Lauren's been on a few times. Yeah, definitely appreciate her stopping by. And then I just got bombed by the Retired Saint Gaming crew. Retired Saint Gaming, they all showed up at once and boom, 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 blew up the chat. So that's awesome. Retired Saint Gaming. That's Gaming Bat of Gotham. That's Power Loki Gaming. That's Wife of Saint. And that's Chicken Crispy. Thank you.
Yeah, I walked away for like 3 minutes to come back, and I was like, "Where did all these people come from?"
Yep. So all the people who joined us for the YouTube community, the people who joined us on the stream, will put your channels down in the comments below this video. If you listen to the audio version of the show, please go to youtube.com/GCandC. Click the description. Click on these people's channels. Click that subscribe button. Do all that stuff.
Do it.
And if you are listening to our podcast, it's a real big thing for us is go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, leave a comment, because it keeps us near the top of the list of iTunes, whatever their algorithm is.
Jeff, did you listen to the recent Scary Thoughts, the Facebook one?
I did. I've been listening to it.
Their new motto is give us a 5-star rating or fuck off. Every other channel, it's like, we want like honest reviews or whatever. Like that's what they came up with this week.
Might as well.
Nice. I love that podcast. That is a good podcast.
Yep. And then I got the new Facebook group members, Brandon and Jeff.
Thanks,
Mike.
All right. Thanks you in the group.
Yeah.
Yep. I thought I added somebody yesterday.
The stuff.
All right. So that's been Comically Gaming. Episode 103. We're going to end the show like we always do with the spoiler segment. This week we're back to the Comic Book Club, checking out Action Comics number 1000. Seems like we're a little divided on it as well. But if you haven't read it, we do go full spoilers on this stuff. So this is your point to check out. Thank you very much. Find all our other stuff that we do on the internet over on our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/GCandC, GCandC. And then please consider donating $1 a month
to make Dirt House.
I will every time.
Find us on Twitter at GCandC.
And as always, thank you to Fred Thomas for opening music and Xee Reiter for our kick-ass logo.
And then next CBBC, we will be covering Gideon Falls number 2.
Gideon Falls, I thought it was my pick. I thought we were doing Swamp Thing.
No, you were off, so I just did a command decision.
All right, that's cool. We'll get Swamp Thing in there one of these days. Gideon Falls number 2 it is.
That was an audible I just did.
Is number 3 going to be out by then?
Maybe. So
should we do 3?
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
It's really like 4 weeks away before we do a CBBC again, so follow us on Twitter at GCandC, and we'll shout it out there.
We'll keep you up.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks.
Comic Book Club, full spoilers discussion of Action Comics 1000. Bendis' 2-page debut.
It was 8 pages.
Felt like 2 pages.
Felt like 2 pages.
Basically, it's a bunch of Superman stories all in one comic with different artists and writers. Some good, some bad.
Most bad.
Some alright. Yeah. I don't know. Some I skipped.
You skipped.
Some I skipped because I felt like it was cluttered. It just for some reason it didn't look visually pleasing, and it pissed me off, and I'm like, I don't want to read this.
Yeah. You know what I think they were doing, and I noticed like Louise Simonson wrote one, and Dan Jurgens. It's a lot of people that were connected to Superman from the past that they invited in, I think.
Yeah, Scott Snyder, Tom King.
I read Snyder, Tom King's, and Bendis.
More recent people, but I'm talking like Louise Simonson and Jurgens. That's sort of older, So I think
Jurgens is the one I really liked.
You see, that's the one I didn't like at all, and it soured me.
That's the very first one, right?
Yes, it's the first one.
Well, I think it was more the artwork really got to me.
You just like Lois ripping her shirt open.
Yes, that's literally the only thing in there.
So I'm glad to report that for once I'm not the grumpy old dude. I actually enjoyed this book. I thought there was like maybe one boring one in here, But
one boring one. Come on,
Superman.
I liked him. Yeah, I liked him. Look at that. That one was cool, where he was jumping around through time, doing all the old school Superman stuff up to.
I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I thought that Bendis's start, like, this is just a teaser, right? But
I mean,
it was not good.
It was not good. And hold on a second. So I generally I don't like these platforms with the short stories anyway, because it's so one-off and forgettable. Like, I'm not going to remember this tomorrow, probably, to be honest. But also, maybe it's my brain cells too, but the stories were so short. Like, okay, so the Tom King one was rolling so nicely. I was like, all right, I'm totally digging it. And then I flipped the page, and it's over. I mean, it was just done. Like, there was all this wind-up, and I just felt like I would have preferred fewer authors and longer stories.
Yeah.
I would too, but what are you going to do?
Or a bigger issue.
It's a one-issue thing. They threw in a bunch of different authors. I thought, for Superman stories, like, normally when I read, like, the Superman New 52 stuff was terrible. It was so slow and boring, and they try to make some story out of them, like, that, Mr. Invincible Man, like, at least in these, like, they went through the different eras of Superman and
they did,
and some different things. Like, I mean,
right. And I figured they had to do that.
Yeah, I just feel like expectations, right? Like, you were having the same argument with me opposite way earlier, and I just feel like the for being a collection of short stories to celebrate issue 1000, I didn't expect it to be any more. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I liked it.
I think
I have for an 1000 episode, it should have been great.
Well, and also some of this has to do with Superman as a character.
Right.
I mean, he's just a yawner. I'm sorry. And but I will say this. The story that I liked, the three stories that I liked the most, The Car with Jeff Johns and Richard Donner, actually, from that directed the first Superman, helped to write that story. It was too short, again, but probably my favorite of the bunch. And then the 5th season and Of Tomorrow, which is the Tom King story, I like the best. 5 Minutes and Action Land, the one with Mixtaplick, I don't even remember what happened in those stories. I mean, I don't know what happened. I read the Bendis story first.
Was his lady friend wanted him to get kinky, and he was just trying to get crazy writing Superman stories.
Right.
I thought that was great. What's not to like about that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad even. I'm saying I don't remember it at all. And that's the thing. I'm not, like, some of these weren't bad. I really had trouble being interested. But I started off with the Bendis story because maybe that left a bad taste in my mouth. First of all, I mean, I guess I was expecting more of a dive into the material with him.
I was too.
And that I didn't really get that much. I got some generic villain that he's fighting. The Jim Lee artwork, I'm sorry, I just did not take to that 90s sort of style. And like I was saying when we weren't filming, I was a big Jim Lee fan when I was like 14 years old.
I'm looking at it again. I don't mind the art.
I don't mind the art at all. I like the art.
In the Bendis story?
Yeah.
It feels like a very dated style of art, to be honest.
Really.
It looks a little Liefeld-ish, and I'm shocked because Jim Lee used to be, to me, the best out of the Marvel and then Image crew.
But Jim Lee.
Yeah, it is. I'm saying it feels like it's sort of Liefeld-ish, but
so
I don't know. I didn't take to it, but
can I just interrupt for 1 second while talking about the Bendis story here? So he does the thing like he has a new power, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he yells stop, and then he stops in midair, and then he looks around like confused for a second, and then moves on. Like, I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
A new superpower.
Yeah, totally. I did, and okay, so this goes back to the Grant Morrison take on it too. I prefer in Superman stories when we get to look into his powers and we get to break it down more and we get to see the more alien aspect of Superman. That's what I prefer.
Yeah.
They did it a little bit in here in the issue. There were a few times when he was measuring the heartbeat. I think he was reading somebody's, insides and stuff.
Bullet.
Oh yeah.
That too. Yeah.
That story was awesome too.
That was kind of cool.
He's doing the math while he's flying at super speed. Like,
I'd like. Yeah,
that was cool.
I think that's the 5th season, is it not? Maybe not. But as far as like Bendis doing this, I'm a little worried now. I wasn't worried before. I was excited. Now I'm a little worried, to be honest.
I give it I hear what
6.2. 6.2.
I hear what you're saying there, Dirk. I feel like this was something that they just said, clearly he's writing these 6 Man of Steel books, right? Like, that's going to be the work that we're going to look to see if he can do something cool with Superman or not. Like, this is just like one of those things where, like, when they wrote out the contract, they're like, okay, you have to put 8 pages into episode, into issue 1,000, right? Like, so I'm not worried, you know what I mean, because of that. Like, I feel like...
Also, for if anybody wants to read some other Bendis before the Man of Steel thing comes out, DC Nation Zero has 3 really good stories in it, and one of them is Bendis Superman. The other one is Joker's reaction to the Batman wedding, which is awesome. No, look, I'd probably, if I was Bendis and I had his writing skills and I was offered a position at DC, I would probably go for Superman 2 because that's the biggest challenge.
Right.
To make Superman interesting and like something, for me and you to get into, not just a kid, I think is like a really tall task and daunting as a writer, and you want that challenge. So I would do the same thing as him. I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it does.
I agree.
Y'all got scores?
What do you say, 6.2?
Yeah, 6.2.
I give it an 8.
6.7. 6.7.
That was a total 6.5.
Wow.
But I was like, I was in a rush reading it. Like, I should have read it earlier this week.
Don't make excuses. Just
because I didn't even read all of it. I was like, damn, that's a lot of words, and I need to read this shit quick. And it's a big issue.
Well, you can amend yourself later.
Yeah.
Also, I did I referenced this earlier, but if somebody wants to read a really good Superman story, read All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison. It's a fantastic, just perfect Superman story.
I'll try and put it in the show notes too, so you can just click to it.
Sweet.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, y'all.
Another one in the books.
Sweet.
Comically Gaming, episode 103.
103.
103.
103.
103.
103. Two.
Oh.
Blackhead Printing for all your custom shirt nerdy shirt resellers.
Sure.